In this video, we're going to explore how you make a decision. Have you ever thought about that? How do you know what to eat? How do you know when to eat? How do you know when it's time to go to bed? How do you decide who to date and form a relationship with? And how do you decide on who to vote for? Or how do you decide if you should vote or not? How do you decide who is the good guy and who is the bad guy? Now, in NLP terms, we talk about decision-making as a strategy. And Bandler and Grinder, back in the early days, they based the NLP strategy model on the work of Galanter and Pribram. They developed the TOTE model, which is an acronym for test, operate, test, and exit. So something kicks off the strategy, something that's either in your external environment or in your body or mind. And this is the first test bit. You then go through an operational phase and at various stages testing to see if you've made a decision or not. And then you exit. So it's test, operate, test, exit. Let's see how it works in practice. So for example, let's start with decisions around food. At some time of the day, you feel a sensation or a number of sensations in your body that causes thoughts of food to arise in the mind. The thought then arises, I need to eat. And this is the first test. So now there are two directions of attention. One is on the outside world and the other's on your inner world. Now we have 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. That is what you can see in the outside world and the images that you have in the cinema of your mind. What you hear out there in the world, sounds and conversations with people, and then the conversations you have with yourself in your inner world. And in terms of the kinesthetic system, it's what you can touch and feel out there in the world, and body sensations, feelings, emotions on the inside. What you can smell and thoughts of smell, and taste, the taste of food, and the thoughts of taste. So thoughts arise about hunger and food, and you say to yourself, I'm hungry, it's time to eat. You're now motivated to search for food. So I'm going to try and keep this discussion as simple as I can. So I'll give you my eating strategy. So let's say I'm at a meetup with my friends on Saturday morning. At some point, I get a sensation that tells me that I'm getting hungry. So I check my watch, and I like to eat lunch about 12 to 12:30. Let's say it's 11:45 a.m. So I start thinking about my lunch options. Did I bring lunch with me? Where is the closest cafe? And I mention lunch to my friends, and we decide to meet at a cafe at the local shopping mall. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking of what type of cafe will sell food that fits my criteria for lunch. I know of a suitable cafe at the shopping mall, so that's okay. So that is the when and the where. Okay, so now I'm at the cafe. How to decide what to eat? Now, there can be a sensation in the body which suggests to me either vegetarian, meat, or fruit. And then I compare these sensations with previous memories of having these same sensations and the decision that I made. So I reflect back upon foods that I've eaten before at this time of day. I consider how I might feel after eating the food, that type of food. And I discovered that carbs at lunch will make me feel tired. And fruit doesn't give me enough energy, and it affects the health of my gums in a negative way. Now, a small quantity of meat or fish is usually the best option for me. So I decide to buy a beef pie. Now, buying takeaway food is never going to be perfect, but I look for a cafe which should have a reasonable quality pie. And part of my criteria is that if I can't find the cafe which will provide the food, I don't eat. So just until I find the right cafe. Anyway, everything I just described was either internal in pictures, having auditory conversations with myself, feeling body sensations and memories of smells and aromas. Then I turn my attention to the outside world and I scan the range of pies in the display cabinet. So this is visual external. There's a chicken pie. Go. Then I remember past experiences of having eaten chicken pie. And it's like, no, it doesn't give me energy and it seems to be too full of additives. I got no idea how they could destroy a basic chicken pie. Anyway, I don't eat bacon, so that takes that off the menu. And sometimes I got a problem with cheese. Like, good cheese is fine, but the cheese they use in cafes and restaurants, I don't know what they do. I got no idea what they do. Anyway, so turns out that steak and kidney is usually the best option. Now, the kidney gives me a lot more strength than just a basic meat pie. And it actually tastes better too. So then the waiter asks me if I want tomato sauce. I say no. From past experience, there are just too many additives which cause me health problems, and I have a long list of foods, additives, which I need to avoid. So the waiter then asks, well, eat here or take away. Now, if I say eat here, they will put the pie in a plate. So then I have to eat with a knife and a fork. And that just doesn't interest me. I say take away. Then I get the pie in a paper bag, brown paper bag. And this looks good and it feels good to me. I get to feel the softness, the texture, and the heat of the pie through the paper. And as I bring the pie to my face, you know, the sounds there at the paper bag and whatever, and I can feel the warmth of the pie and I can smell the aroma. So in this part of the strategy, I was going external and internal. Visual external followed by visual internal, asking questions of the waiter, listening for a response, processing the response internally by talking to myself, checking my criteria and feeling it out. So once I have run through my checklist of criteria and values, I make a decision to order the steak and kidney pie. And I exit the strategy. Now, the problem with teaching strategies is how to make it simple for you to understand. So let's try again. Some clients I've worked with have a simple visual kinesthetic strategy for food. They see a cream pie and they feel like eating. They reach out and pick up the pie and they eat the pie. It's just a VK strategy. That is, it's a see, feel strategy. Now, this person's decision-making strategy is much simpler than mine. Now, and it's not a question of which strategy is right, okay? It's about functionality. Do your decision-making strategies serve you? If not, then map out the strategy that you're using and start inserting steps, right? Which will help you to make better choices. Okay, we just looked at a generalized description of the decision strategy. Now let's unpack the decision process a bit more. So within the operational phase of the test, operate, test, exit strategy, you will be making reference to criteria and values. Now I think of values as being principles that guide us and criteria as less abstract than values and more like standards or conditions. So continuing with our decision-making strategy for deciding upon what to eat. What values and criteria guide your decision-making process? Do you like to buy fast food or not? Is convenience important to you or not? Price. What qualities do you look for? Does it need to be organic? Etc. What are your highest frames of mind? What are your highest values in terms of nutrition? Are you a vegan, a vegetarian, or a meat eater? Do you have religious restrictions on what you can eat? So what I suggest you do is to map out your decision-making process for nutrition. So you start by eliciting your values around nutrition and food. So let's start. Number one, what is important to you about the food that you eat? You could also ask, what is important to you about diet and what is important to you about nutrition? Different questions will give you slightly different answers, and that's useful to know. So you keep on asking these questions until you get a list of values. Then you rank the list in order of importance so that you get a hierarchy of values. Now, if you need more help with values elicitation, then take a look at my videos on that topic. I've done a few videos on values elicitation. And it's something which you have to learn. All right, step 2. It's a good idea to make sure that you have your away from values too. So ask, what is important for you to avoid in terms of nutrition, diet, and food? Keep asking this question until you get a list of away from values. And then you rank the away from values in order of importance. So 3. So once you have your list of towards and away from values, then map out the process that you use to decide upon what to eat for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks, and so on. Now start with breakfast, all right? Use the toast model. Yeah, the toast model, the TOTE model. How do you make the decision to eat or not eat breakfast? What kicks off the strategy? Remember, your attention will go internal and external in VAKOG. That is visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. And you will be referencing values, criteria, and memories. You may be thinking in terms of a negative compelling future and a positive compelling future. You may be thinking of benefits and or consequences. You may be past, present, or future oriented. You may be sorting by self or other. You may be thinking more in terms of facts and logic or more in terms of feelings. For more information about NLP metaprograms and personality traits, see my videos on those topics. Okay, so once you've got an understanding of how you make a decision of what to eat, then start looking at how you make decisions in terms of alcohol and drugs. If you don't do alcohol and drugs, then look at how you could apply the same strategy to some food items, and maybe you already do that. And how do you decide upon healthcare? Do you go mainstream, or do you choose something which is more traditional, like naturopathy or Ayurvedic medicine, or a combination of something like that? So how do you make those decisions? You've got to think about that. What guides those decision-making processes? And then, most importantly, does it serve you? If not, then look at your decision-making process and make the change at the point which will bring about the desired change as efficiently as possible. And this is something that NLP is renowned for: fast, ecological, lasting change. As long as you make the changes in the right place. So you just need to know where to make the change. So once you've got an understanding of how you make decisions regarding food, alcohol, and drugs, then you move on to relationships. How do you make a decision on who you want to date or who you want to spend time with? Now make sure you write it down. Write it down. Because this is an important step to self-coaching. Write it down. In this way, you get to look at yourself as if you're looking at someone else. Because if it just stays in the head, it can take years for you to work it out sometimes. And then we get to politics. I don't know how we got into politics, but we got into politics. Then we get to politics. How do you make a decision on political preference? Are you on the left or are you on the right? Hey, and do you understand the distinctions between left and right? Or what are your distinctions? Because people have different understandings. Now, are you in the center? Are you authoritarian or a libertarian? And as you gain an understanding of personality traits, meta programs, values, and decision-making processes, you will gain self-awareness, hopefully, which will help you to make better decisions, not just for yourself, but for the entire world. And to finish this video, I want to leave you with a question. How do you decide who is the good guy and who is the bad guy? So I invite you to leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Please give the video a big like, hit that subscribe button and share it across social media. All the best to you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And remember to keep on challenging everything for the truth. I've spent my entire life doing that, and I would like to share some of my discoveries with you. Whether you're an atheist or believe in a higher power, my book on God is sure to get you thinking. And part and parcel of spirituality is learning how to work with your unconscious mind, such that you can quieten the mind and get yourself to sleep when you need to. And that includes the ability to banish bad habits like cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, chocolate, and overeating. And as a foundation to a fulfilling life, I believe everyone needs to learn how to work with their unconscious mind, how to explore deep trance and states of deep meditation. If you want to connect, you can find me on Facebook at Abbey Eagle School of Meditation.